The Woody Lynch Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, squatches of all ages, the Woody Land Show is loaded, locked and loaded, and ready to go. Let's roll. Let's get past this intro and get into the meat and the squatch of the episode. 3, 2, 1, let's go. If you couldn't tell by all the squatch references, I laugh at every one of them. I know those of you out there listening, you may even have it on the fast forward button, the 15-second skip ahead, and you're like, man, I just wish you'd stop saying the word squatch. But I'm going to be honest with you. Every time I say it, I chuckle. So therefore, I say it. So as you could tell, it's been a busy few weeks here at Media Squatch, formerly known as Watts Creative Studios. Well, still Watts Creative Studios, kinda. Watts Creative Studios is my hub, right? It's kind of my. I always was hesitant in doing business under that name. I don't know why, but back in the day, I was doing just video production, and then I slowly kind of just wanted to get into other things. And I would start something, then it kind of die off fairly quickly, but whatever. But I'm an entrepreneur at heart, I think, and I like to be creative. So I was always kind of a little hesitant in doing all of my business under Watts Creative Studios. For some reason, I'm sure no one else out there cared, but I did. So then I gradually started sub companies, and then, I got to the point where it's like, man, I gotta do it. I gotta redo or rename or rebrand my main business, my main genre, my name, whatever you call it. My main thing we do, which is marketing, and is a marketing agency and production sprinkled in there, but mainly creative, graphic design, everything under the marketing sun. And that's where Media Squatch came from. Last episode, number 10. I hope you listened to it and you heard it. But that's why I renamed it to Media Squatch, to kind of encompass all of the media related activities that we do, and we do a lot. So we're kind of getting into Google AdWords, SEO, website. We've been doing all that, but a little bit more. So Watts Creative Studios is kind of in the back right now. It's kind of taking a back seat, and it's kind of the, it's the backbone, it's the support, but it's pushing all of my weirdo ideas out, like Grove Street FM, which is our streaming app, Media Squatch, which is the main business, the media agency, ad buying, social media management, production, creative stuff. So Watts Creative Studios, still there. It's kind of the mothership, but I got some other stuff brewing and cooking and simmering, marinating. That's what we'll call it. But you know what? It's been so busy lately. And I don't know what the Woody Land Show is, this podcast. It's going to be a mix. As you could tell, it will be anywhere from a Christmas AI special episode that is still breaking charts and still topping. It's in the instant classic list. I read that somewhere on the internet. And to marketing updates for our company. So I am just doing a hodgepodge of stuff in this podcast and having a good time with it. So today's episode, I wanted to kind of touch on some of the stuff that we have been working on lately that, again, episodes of this podcast may drop every week. They may drop every month. Who knows? Depends on the work schedule. But we've been having a lot of fun. I've got to tell you, when you're loving what you do, it really does help. It really does help keep you kind of going, because as a creative, maybe others out there can identify with this. As a creative that is literally kind of paid for your ideas, you have to, in a way, become guarded with telling everybody what you would do in situations, especially in the marketing world now, because really the more you kind of go into a consulting role or an agency role or creative role, everybody wants advice, and you have to kind of pick and choose what you want to tell people when you're just sitting and doing your kind of, your kind of coffee talks and stuff like that. Like you're just sitting chatting. It's a balancing act that I don't think I'm winning right now. I think there are moments where I'm doing okay. But that's one of the things that I'm learning how to put a handle on is, since you're paid, it's just like a plumber. You pay a plumber to do plumbing work. And I mean, are you going to stop and ask the plumber 50 questions? Is he going to tell you everything to do, or are you just going to pay him to do the thing for you? So it's kind of, I'm in one of those positions now, kind of gearing, straying or pulling away from just sole video production that I did a couple of years ago to just all in marketing. Where is the line at? Like where do you tell them your secret sauce and stop it? And I'm learning that right now. And there's a lot of parallels in that and in Bigfoot. You thought you would get out of an episode with me talking about Bigfoot. No, I'll never stop talking about Bigfoot. But lately, what we've been doing is it's been very creatively fulfilling, but also very exhausting because from a marketing standpoint, I'm getting to create on a level that I didn't think I would be able to create on, where I'm creating stuff for other people that are paying me to create for them. And you want their businesses to succeed. So you kind of give it all. You put all that you have into it and hope that the techniques pay off, whatever avenue that you're taking. And for me, I treat, and I've said this in other episodes, I treat their businesses, like I would treat my own. Like I would never present something to somebody that I'm not willing to try myself, whether it be an animated commercial, whether it be a podcast, whether it be advertising avenues such as streaming, OTT, Google AdWords, all that good stuff. So lately, there's been a hodgepodge of stuff that I've been able to kind of creatively get into, and I'm loving it. I'm kind of loving the rotation of creative aspects for clients. So let me start with one. I love absolutely 100,000% love doing animated commercials, and there's several reasons for that, right? Let me tell you the selfish reasons first, okay? The very selfish reasons that I like doing animated versus actual filming. One, to me, it takes a lot of the pain out that I find in live action shooting, like lighting, weather, personalities, people being able to talk to a camera, scripts, revisions, people not liking, changes, blah, blah, blah. There's like 1,000 different things. When you shoot a video, there's just a lot that can happen. And even though you think you're going into a project that's super simple and we're just doing this, it usually ends up with the video creator or editor doing revision after revision. And as a creator, I think that people can identify with this. That is, you'll do it. It's kind of aggravating because you kind of, you present something and then to have changes, it's kind of, as the creative part of you, you're like, you resist that. However, the business mind is, listen, this person's paying for a product. You need to give them the best product, and you're essentially doing it for them. So I've had that balance in my brain for a while, and it's okay. It's how you balance it. And there are things that when you do a video, you and you feel strongly about something, you'll present your opinion, but in the end, they're writing the check and they're paying you. So that's that, right? So, but lately, I've been doing a lot of animated commercials because I've had a client that has embraced that. And I've really enjoyed it. I love doing animation because real life video or whatever for me is, I like doing it. It's okay. And I have good equipment for doing it. But I just, creatively speaking, I will watch more animation than I do. This sounds weird, than live action. So I love animation, just period. But in doing an animated commercial, it's just more, for me, it's almost walled off from a lot of the exterior limitations that a typical video shoot presents. A video shoot locally for me usually honestly lasts less than an hour. It's not that long. They're fairly straightforward. You come back and edit it, and they're fairly simple. I'm not saying they're difficult. But an animation, on the other hand, can take usually probably, I would say minimum 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes some of them take months, right? So they take longer than a real life thing. But for me, they're just more catchy. They're just more instantly identifiable. Like when you put them on TV, they're like, for me, they pop a little bit more than the typical live action video shoots. So, for example, we're doing, what we've done, and we are doing. Let me clarify. Get my thoughts organized here. A series of animated commercials for a wonderful client called Brown's Heating, Air, and Plumbing. And we have done 3. 2 are in rotation. 1 is on the way, of really, really, I would say on a local level, really well animated commercials, right? One is kind of on the subject of like, it's cold outside, your HVAC unit broke, Breezy, their mascot, which we did, comes in, saves the day, bam. Okay, the second one is plumbing, advertising their plumbing services. They got a plumbing leak, Breezy comes in, fixes it. The third one will be when it's hot outside, blah, blah, blah. You kind of get the gist. But they're done, I would say they're done in a very recognizable animated style that you would see on primetime network television, right? So I won't say that it's copying it, but it's definitely inspired. And I would say that is almost done. It's done, one, because I love that style of animation. I love it. It pops. You recognize it. It's not too crazy. It's not out there. But 2, that when someone sees it on TV, not that you're trying to trick them into thinking that they're watching something else, but like, again, it catches their attention, right? Like, have I seen that before? Wait, no, I haven't. Wait, what is it? Is this a commercial for? Wait a minute. This is kind of cool. And on a local level, you don't really see a lot of animated commercials. So I'm really proud that we're able to do, 1, a series of commercials, and 2, they're actually well done. They're not like clip art, and they're not these infographic whiteboard style ones. It's actually a cartoon. It's actually legitimately a cartoon that is in a commercial form. And what we did this time to really kind of make it stand out from the other commercials on television is we've reframed the commercial. So typically when you do a commercial, you fill up the whole TV space. And don't think of it, what I'm saying, as if the commercial's going on social media yet, because that's old, that's new. But old school, we would design it, the 16:9 or 1920 by 1080p format commercial, put the lower third in the title safe zone, which that means that if a TV's cropped in or zoomed in, they're not seeing the important text or phone number, website, right? So there's kind of limitations there on the screen that you have to go by for TVs, right? Social media doesn't matter. If it fits in that screen, usually a phone will pick it up. You don't have to worry about it. But TV is kind of different because back in the day, you had so many different resolutions. And specifically before everyone got a HD TV, which you hear me say that and you think, oh man, that's just doesn't make sense. But that was a thing, y'all. I am that old to remember when I had commercials that were in the 4:3 format versus the 1080p format. And now, TVs are 4K, but I don't know that I've ever uploaded a 4K commercial to any platform other than social media. So I don't know when broadcasters do that, maybe after my time. But with that said, with Media Squatch, and I'm going to get to the updates on that soon. With Media Squatch, I've really tried to kind of go a different avenue than your traditional TV commercials, specifically in our area. So I've redone the frame, put the animated commercial in there, really trying to just grab people's attention. Like specifically, well, not specifically. Let me say this. Let me reword this. I noticed that this was working when the shows, because we run them during sporting events, right? Locals, like it's on the local affiliate channels, but they're doing like a race or doing a basketball game or doing a playoff game, something like that. When people would send you pictures of the commercial playing in a bar, right? That means they were paying attention, right? Like they're like, oh wait, they're looking up there and they see it, whatever. It's super nice to stand out, even if it's for a millisecond, just to grab their attention. And I'm really proud of this new framing thing that I'm trying. And I feel like it's actually Not that it's a direct thing and everybody's like, oh, I called because the commercial frame on there was impeccable. No, it's just something to make you stand out, right? It's just something to make you stand out a little bit more than a typical commercial. So going back to the beginning, we've done a few animated commercials for Brown's Heating and Air. We got 2 in rotation now, 1 on the way. They all have these new frames, and they all have what I believe quality animation in the middle of that frame, instantly recognizable. And I love the way they turned out. Plus, they're creatively fulfilling for me because I get to kind of play in that animation field that I absolutely love. And you don't really see it. You don't see it on a local level. So I'm really happy with that. That's step 1 for Media Squatch. That is one thing that is going really well that we absolutely love. I would say another area that I am seeing trends and a lot of attention being paid to now, more so than 6 months ago, is Google AdWords. Now, I will admit before I've dabbled in it, I've done it for clients, and off and on. But I would say the last 3 months specifically, I have seen a direct uptick in requests and the need for doing this, just because the competition is so fierce in these local markets, whether it be for HVAC, car dealers, or whatever, that they have to stand out. So it's something. It's odd, I guess, or surprising as a media agency that I am seeing trends change so much in such a tight span of time. Back a few years ago, I could map out the year. I could tell you when a trend would happen across the year, when people would buy more media, or when people would, the themes that you would go with for selling, like, spring into this, or tax return season, blah. You could kind of map that out. Now, I've had to throw it out the window. I've got to be completely honest with you. I have had to completely rethink my theming approach, because something as simple as you around March or April, you would always base it off of, your tax returns, investor tax returns. Well, actually this year, people are getting back less in tax returns. And so if you're doing a commercial in your whole marketing campaign and you're spending, let's say, $20,000 a month on TV and all this stuff, what you don't want to do is put all that stuff out there and it not resonate. I'm not saying it'll negatively affect your brand or your company, but it's not sticking with people and they're not calling the business. So therefore you don't want to use it. So this year and the end of last 2023 has been extremely telling for me, or extremely thought-provoking. Is that the word I want to use? Yeah, I think I'm going to use it. Thought-provoking from a marketing standpoint, because the trends are no longer trends. Back in the day you could do something, but now it's, my gosh, it's every 2-3 months, something's different. And I saw last year with traditional TV and cable drastically switched to streaming television and podcast advertising. And I've seen, even in our own in-house kind of experiments, specifically with Grove Street FM, which is a local podcasting streaming app that we developed, that the traffic from the beginning of last year to this is absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy how hard we had to fight in the beginning to get any downloads. And I'm not joking with that, like, to get any downloads. And now I'm not saying it's easier, but the ask or the convincing is absolutely, it's less resistance. So I can now put an ad out to download the app and you instantly start seeing downloads. Back in the day, I would have to spend quite a bit to get a few handful of downloads. So I definitely see a trend. Well, I say a trend, but I definitely see people relying on their devices, people streaming more, people getting away from traditional media. I don't think you'll ever lose the local news. I love the local news. That's part of why I wanted to create the app, to stay, keep local communications. But in that, I am so proud that we are able to do animated commercials on a local level that are currently running on broadcast TV in here in the area and streaming television. So we've got that going for us, and we're so awesome. I will say another thing is our mascot for a car dealership is going rather well. He is resonating with people. It's been easy to design around, and if you've seen him around town, I hope you enjoy him. It's funny for me because mascots, I absolutely love creating characters, and to be able to create characters for so many businesses is super fulfilling for me. Super fulfilling. And even doesn't matter the industry, but it is funny that there are all these kind of hidden things out there about the meaning of this mascot or the imagery of this mascot. And you cannot get bogged down in all that. I'm telling you right now. Like, you really do have to do a little research just to make sure you're not, missing any glaring things. But just when you think you're safe, you go down the Reddit rabbit hole and it's like, oh my gosh, this means what? And then I have to compartmentalize it and block it out because it's like, you can't, like, this is ridiculous now. You can't even, Bigfoot has like a perverted meaning or something. It's ridiculous, but I'm super proud of that. That's going well. He's been in a couple of commercials for this dealership. That's going fantastic. Super proud of that. Google AdWords for multiple clients are going rather well. That is an area that I am relying to. I do myself, but I also have a remote team member. Yes, we are 4 strong at Media Squatch. 2 are local and 2 are remote. So how about that? How about us cutting edge here in our local town, branching out and diversifying and having remote workers across the globe. How about that? That's amazing, right? So, but I have a wonderful campaign person for my Google AdWords that helps and assists and monitors, and it has been lovely having that person on staff to help with that, and it is magnificent. So I am very proud of that. And my designer that's remote, he is amazing, most amazing guy. Does all my helps with my animations. I storyboard them out and we kind of like tag team it. And the funny part is being in different time zones though. I have had to adjust my communications. So I have to really kind of be like, some nights I'll stay up till 2 or 3 to communicate something and be in real time. But that's been the only challenge, but I kind of like staying up late. So it's all good. And another strong suit, another update, another huge update for us here at Media Squatch / Grove Street FM is that this broadcast season, so those of you who may not know, I've kind of dabbled and kind of told you a little bit about Grove Street FM, but it is a growing platform. At first, it started off with a single live feed in it where some of the podcasts were broadcast live and we would go there and they could download it and listen. Since then, I've really attempted to morph it into more of a Sirius XM style app, which has podcasts, has everything that we kind of do in-house. And it has almost become I won't say my personal one, but I'll say our streaming platform for our content. Now, I say that, but I know there's YouTube, TikTok, and all that's great. And there's another episode I'm gonna talk more in depth about the effectiveness that I think of that and does it really matter? But I'm gonna try to stay on point here. I feel like for people that produce a lot of content for others, you've got to have some type of hub if the business does not. So for the ones that we create podcasts for, some of them do embed it on their website and do a good job. Others, there's no platform for them. There's no platform or one funnel to kind of send people for all the information. They may have a website, right? But I mean, it's just not, there's nothing there. They don't have somebody in-house to kind of take care of it. So that's why I have really appreciated what Grove Street FM has become for us, is that it is kind of a container for all that we do, all the podcasts. When you start to get above 5 or 6 podcasts and get into 10, 15, 20, it becomes hard to tell people all that you're doing, because then they have to go to Apple and subscribe to 20 podcasts. If they want to hear what you're doing, they have to look it up. They have to look up each show. They go to your network, whatever. And there's so many devices now where it's like, are you on Spotify? Are you on Apple? Are you on Google? And Google Podcasts is going away. So it's like, are you on YouTube? It's all this crazy stuff. So that's why, honestly, I know there was there was back in the day, a whole lot of people were coming up with apps and web apps. Then they got away from them. And then I don't know, I foresee that maybe changing because technology is kind of morphing. And I feel like there's so many platforms that you have to advertise, but all of them are vastly different audiences. And in the end, you really want to bring them back to your core for the reason for having the content, right? Like, especially if you're a business, if you're a personal creator, you just want your stuff out there and hopefully it generates interest and income and influencer stuff. But as a business, you could very quickly post to 15 platforms a day and then wonder like, well, am I getting anything from it? Like, I'm getting a lot of views on this one, but then none of this one. What is it bringing my business? That's why I appreciate our local platform where we've kind of got everything in there. We're getting great traffic to it. We're broadcasting high school sports, the girls' basketball games specifically because they are playoff bound and we have playoffs this week for them. And I'm so happy that the parents are able to hear their kids' names in a professional broadcast setting. That is super, super nice for me to be able to do for our community. And we had a sponsor, so I'm able to get paid for it too a little bit. So that's always nice. So you can see we got a ton going on creative wise to be able to do animated commercials, a mascot, and to be able to build an app platform that has a semi community built around it. You could see how creatively that's super nice. Like it's just super fulfilling. It is also exhausting because you're constantly having to come up with 15,000 different ideas for each one of your clients, then your own stuff you're doing and managing that and keeping it fresh because on a micro, hyper local level, Grove Street FM, you have to keep feeding it. You can't let it sit stagnant. And I think we've got some cool stuff on the way. Hopefully we'll find out this week that I can update you on. But yeah, a whole lot going on with Media Squatch, which the rebrand has gone excellent. God, people responded so well to that. I mean, I had a couple of different opinions about it that, and I love opinion. People, I love feedback. It's great. But the majority of people really loved it, loved the brand, loved the mascot, loved the update. And I absolutely love it and have embraced it. And I feel like it gave me a new fire for my business. And I feel like it was the right call. You got to go with your gut. I went with my gut with this one. And I absolutely love it. Plus, it kind of separated the business a little bit, and which is always nice for me to kind of keep the walls and dividers up a little bit. But that's gone absolutely super well. Grove Street FM, I'm kind of getting my kick back to marketing that a little bit more. I kind of got away from that to focus on Media Squatch and get that up and running. And now that I've got the signs, all that stuff, customer kind of informative emails sent out. It's been great. Grove Street FM, I'm kind of circling back to that. I've got some ideas for some more original content. We're doing another breaking news, doing another animated commercial with Grover in it. I am changing Grover's voice. Those of you who listen to this episode, I want you to mention that you heard me say this because I want to know you listen to this episode. But yes, I am changing up Grover's voice and let's call it attitude, swagger. I don't know what you call it, but that's what we'll call it. I'm changing Grover's attitude up because I feel like I want to grow him up a little bit for a mascot for Grove Street FM. And I'm excited. We got a commercial. It's going to be an animated commercial that I'll run everywhere in conjunction with hopefully some new things we're adding there. So the Woodyland Show has a lot of information about Woody's other businesses. But let me bring it back to Bigfoot. You thought I was going to forget about that, but I did not. I may be scatterbrained and all over the place in the rest of the episode, but I'm not going to forget about Bigfoot. I think when I write a book 100 years from now, I'll have AI write it, but I'll put my name on it. Oh, by the way, did you all see OpenAI Sora demonstrations or examples of the text to video AI? Oh my God. Listen, that's another episode, but that is, if you're a video creator, what do you think? Like, are you nervous right now? Are you looking at that thinking, what's the point? I gotta admit, I kind of was. When I saw on TikTok, I stumbled on a couple of the previews and I'm like, man, oh my gosh. One part of me is like the part of me that loves to create and has a camera and loves to kind of go out when I get inspired. And, the reason I got into this was because I wanted to do short films and do all that stuff. I see that and I'm like, man, I don't even know. This is so discouraging from a eye standpoint. However, on the other side, for a person that does not have any formal training or is limited in I touched on this in the beginning of this episode with you do some client shoots with the weather, with personalities, whatever. If now you can compensate with text to AI video and it's clean and crisp like it showed on the samples, and you can do stock video that before would cost $80 a clip, and now you can kind of text it, describe what you want and you get that specific thing. For one thing, it's stressful for creators, but on the other hand, it provides you a tool. So I think it's all how you have to look at it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of excited after I got over the kind of mind trip when I saw it and how mind-blowingly beautiful and just crazy detailed it is. Then I started thinking, I can't wait to get my hands on it for stock footage. I'm gonna do a whole AI commercial. I've done a whole AI episodes in this podcast because I think the technology from the first episode to now has grown so tremendously. It's fun to play with. That's the Woody Land Show, everybody. It's the Woody Land Show. That's what it's all about. You got to be like Bigfoot. You see? I didn't forget. You got to be like Bigfoot in your marketing, right? You got to stand out. Got to stand out in a crowded marketplace. That's what you do. That is what it means to be Bigfoot. To be Bigfoot in marketing. Is that what I'm trying to say? It's just effective marketing, everybody. You got to stand out. Don't be scared of these tools. Take them and embrace them. I think that a lot of people are going to be scared, but I think that if you are the one that embraces it and actually learns how to use them, because I know that's helped my workflow. It's helped me to produce 10 times more than what I was able to before as far as social media posts and just helping. I don't completely rely on it because you've got to have that human touch. How many of you have gone through social media? Honest truth. Go through the feeds and you can sit here and pick out every Chat GPT generated post there is because it's got 1,000 emojis and it says, hey, whatever, right? You can pick it out. You know what you're looking for. And after a while, people are going to get tired of that. That's why it is important. Don't completely rely on it. Rely on it to kind of straighten up some of your text, and kind of like me, I'm everywhere mentally and I can't communicate. So this tool actually literally helps me decipher what from my brain to my mouth. It is actually a very useful tool for someone like me that cannot articulate what I want. You could probably listen to this episode and think, my God, why am I listening to this? This man can't form one complete sentence without string. Well, that's where this stuff helps, right? It helps. It helps you stand out, right? Like Bigfoot. Bigfoot in a crowded forest, standing out on the Woody Land Show.
And that's a wrap, folks.